Good morning, everybody. Chester RP Church Devotional Podcast. Clint Davis, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us. Genesis chapter 9, 1 through 11. Coming up, Mitch brings us in.
Gives me grace for every trial. Feeds me with the living bread.
All right, Genesis chapter 9, beginning in verse 1. Here we go. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The fear and terror of you will be in every living creature on the earth, every bird of the sky, every creature that crawls on the ground, and of all the fish of the sea. They are placed under your authority. Every creature that lives and moves will be food for you, as I give the green plants. I have given everything. However, you must not eat the meat with its life blood in it. And I will require a penalty for your lifeblood. I will require it from any animal and from any human. If someone murders a fellow human, I will require that person's life. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans his blood shall be shed, for God made humans in his image. But you be fruitful and multiply, spread out over the earth and multiply on it." Then God said to Noah and his sons with him, "Understand that I am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, birds, livestock, and all the wildlife of the earth that are with you, and all the animals of the earth that came out of the ark. I will establish my covenant with you, that never again will any creature be wiped out by floodwaters. There will never again be a flood to destroy the earth." So, God brought Noah out of the ark. We saw that. Noah had a wonderful celebration. And now God comes to Noah and basically says to Noah the same thing he says to Adam and Eve. He says, you are responsible for being fruitful and multiplying and filling the earth. Your job is to fill the earth, repopulate the earth. But there's a difference here in verse 2 than there was with Adam and Eve. Verse 2 says, "The fear and terror of you will be in every living creature on the earth, every bird of the sky, every creature that crawls on the ground, and all the fish of the sea. They are placed under your authority." Now, all of the animals were placed under the authority of Adam and Eve, but in this case, God says to Noah, every creature will be afraid of you. There's an animosity now that there wasn't there in the Garden of Eden when Adam had the responsibility of being a good steward, being the overseer of the garden. The animals interacted with Adam. He named them. There was no fear or terror. Now there is fear and terror because there's an animosity that comes from sin. There's a difference at this point in the game than there was before sin entered the world. There's a terror, and so there's a responsibility, right? There's an authority, but there's also a responsibility by humans to take care, to be good stewards, to use animals as we need them for food, etc., but we're not to simply destroy them, and we are to be caretakers of them, and that's important, but it doesn't take away our opportunity to have food, because he says every creature that lives and moves will be food for you. As I have given green plants, I have given you everything. And so in the beginning of the garden, Adam ate the green plants. And now Adam is able to eat the fruit Adam is able to eat not only the fruit of the trees and the green plants, but he's also able to eat the animals. And so God commands it. But he says, you must not eat lifeblood, and I'll require a penalty for your lifeblood. And so then God gives this prohibition against murder, and he says that there will be a taking of one's life when there is murder. Now, why is God doing all this stuff? Well, God is obviously repopulating the earth with Noah and his family. But he is also reestablishing a covenant with Noah and his family that was lost with Adam and Eve. We see the exact same things taking place in this account as we saw in Genesis chapter 2, because God is now repopulating. He's starting over. He wiped everything off out with the flood, and now he is coming back and he is starting over. Now he's using obviously animals and humans that existed prior to the flood. He saved them in the ark, right? So there's salvation. Now there's a restart, a new life that is beginning. And so we see in that a beautiful picture of what it means to be saved by grace through faith. And so There's a new life that begins in our lives once we're saved. There's a redemption narrative that is taking place that will ultimately be fulfilled in Christ returns, and God will be reestablishing his kingdom fully and completely on this earth. And so we see all that unfolding here. But at this point, God is saying, now listen, there's some different prohibitions, there's some different things put in place, but basically this is a restart. And that's why God enters into this covenant with them. And understand, I'm establishing my covenant with you and your descendants. Verse 9 tells us, every living creature and livestock, nothing will ever be wiped out. I mean, all things we'll never have another flood to wipe out everything. And so God is here making a promise and, again, establishing a covenant with Noah and his descendants so that he can use them and advance his name and advance his kingdom and fill the earth with image bearers, and giving that prohibition against murder, because you remember Cain killed Abel and then murder took place. And so God takes the sanctity of human life very seriously, and we must understand that. So this reveals to us what God's doing. It reveals to us his plan. It shows us in a miniature form what's taking place in the whole story of the Bible, and we see that God is starting over with Noah, and he's given Noah the opportunity to advance his purposes on this earth once again. You guys have a great day. God bless you. See if you can't go forward and advance the purposes of God today. Cherish human life. Be good stewards of that which is around you, and honor the living God. I'll see you tomorrow.
You care.